All for naught. It's the second time that we've had to say that in 3 games, all for naught. They come all the way back in the 9th inning, and not because they did not win the games. We welcome you here to Phillies Postgame Live, brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance, Amy Fiddle, Ricky Metallica, and Ruben Amaro Jr. And we're sitting out here, and everybody's getting amped up, and we see Trea Turner coming through, but then you just knew it was going to happen.
There is a frustration level. I mean, we've seen this all series long where the Phillies have to keep coming back. I mean, you look at the top of the 7th inning, it's 6-1 Braves. You're thinking to yourself, no chance. But then again, there's Harper, there's Turner, there's Stott. They all jumped on that bandwagon, but the Phillies left too much meat on that bone. I mean, you're talking about 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position in this ball game. The bullpen did well. I guess if you take anything out of this, you take that the bullpen did well. The Phillies had that comeback ability again, and they will be in the Braves' head. That's the best you can take out of this. A loss is a loss. Then now if the Braves come in and win tomorrow, they clinch on your turf.
I mean, you got to love the fact that they bounced back and they worked through this game. And I mean, they were dead in the water. They were down 6-1, and they battled back to get into this game. Thankfully, they took Max Fried out of the game to try to kind of save him. But when you have opportunities to drive in runs, the situational hitting has not been good and hasn't been good the entire series. When you have guys on base and you need a quality out, they have not been able to do that. They had a chance to do it. They had a couple of men on with nobody out after they tied up the ball game when Turner went deep. And then they had a couple of really not very good at-bats from JT Realmuto. I mean, it's just that can't happen. That's the kind of stuff that can't happen.
JT did not look good tonight at all. I mean, he was in there in some big situations, came up empty.
Yeah, a lot of people looking for JT Realmuto to bunt in that situation, just try to get something going in a positive way. Well, we're going to hear from Rob Thomson as well as get some clubhouse reaction after this tough loss. But we go across the way and cross it over with our John Kruk. And John, you're sitting there, and I know that you're feeling the energy. We talked to you guys pregame. It's feeling like it is October baseball, but when you're letting opportunities like this slip away, where you come all the way back for the second time in 3 games against the Braves, the best team in all of baseball, and then waste the opportunity in extra innings, is it deflating at all? How do you bounce back?
Well, I think that's what this team has been very good at, is bouncing back. And, yeah, it's very debilitating. It is depressing. If you're an offensive player, you battle, you get to their closer 2 days in a row where you hit dramatic home runs off of him to tie the game, and then you lose it in extra innings. It can be very frustrating for the offense, but look, I think you're telling the Braves that if we see you in October, it ain't going to be an easy cakewalk for you if you play us. And Brian Snitker even said it before the game. He thinks this offense, the Phillies offense, is as good as their offense, and that's saying a lot.
You know what, Krucky, when you look at this game, I think the first person you're going to look at is Zack Wheeler. And once again, just leaving too many pitches out over the middle of the plate. What was your take on his night?
Yeah, I think he got frustrated early with the strike zone. I know, Zack doesn't get very emotional on the mound. He doesn't show emotion on the mound, but you can see some frustration with some of the calls that he wasn't getting. And then, like you said, Rick, he had to, when you can hit the corners and they're not getting called for strikes and you have to move that ball over the center of the plate, especially against this team, they're going to hurt you. Yeah, Sir Anthony, I think today was one of those days where he said, you know what, the heck with it. I'm just going to turn it loose and let it go where it goes. And, he did throw a couple that weren't close, but, for the most part, he was closer to what I've seen like 3 years ago when he first came up with, that natural cut that he has. And I think today he was just saying, I'm just going to throw it. And I'm not going to think. I'm not going to try to hit my spot. I'm not going to try to be perfect. I'm just going to throw it and let it go where it goes. And he threw some pretty nasty pitches. Marte was really good, too, out of the bullpen. And Alvarado, my gosh. I mean, that's just a lot of things in life aren't fair, and that's one of them if you have to face him when he's throwing 100 with that cutter.
We got to talk about that 9th inning. Trea Turner has the theatrics. You see some good things going. All right, Bryce Harper is on. And then you have JT Realmuto coming at bat. We've seen him struggle recently. Any thought there for bunting him, in your opinion?
I'm sure Rob Thomson probably thought about it, but then, Amy, you know, if you bunt him, then they're probably going to walk Nick.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you're going to lose your fifth and sixth hitter in the lineup. But, you know, look, you had Bryce and Stott coming up after that, I think. So I just don't know what's going on with JT at home. He struggles at home this year. You know, and I think he got over anxious in that at bat against Iglesias, and he chased some pitches up that, you know, we've seen him do when he struggles, especially here at home. You know, I wish they'd made Iglesias come down in the strike zone a little more and you know, try to drive something the other way, because he wasn't going to let him pull anything. And, you know, it just didn't work. It just didn't work for him tonight. And then Nick hits into the double play, and, you know, next thing you know, the Braves are you know, scoring another run in extra innings, which sucks.
John, I was wondering if you thought that they might bring in Rodolfo Castro to hit for Marsh in that situation. He's supposed to be a much better right-handed hitter than left-handed hitter. I thought he might make that move.
Yeah, you know, I just think, you know, you look at Marsh's numbers against lefties, and they've been pretty good. Now, you know, the last couple of days he has struck out quite a bit, and, you know, but I think, you know, look, Rob trusts him, and, you know, that might be a situation where you put him into pinch hit for Pache, and now you're going to pinch hit for him later on. I don't know what message that would have sent to Marsh. I don't know what the thought process was down there, but yeah, you know Brad Hand's not going to throw a fastball to you in that situation as long as you keep chasing. And you know, Brad Hand did make good pitches there. I ain't going to lie there, but yeah, I don't know what the thought process was there in order, you know, to think about pinch hitting for Marsh there, but you know, I guess we'll find out after the game.
That's right. We're going to hear from Rob Thomson coming up. A lot of questions I know are going to be asked as another one slips away. Golden opportunity. We'll see if they can get back on track. They certainly don't want to see the Braves celebrate on their field tomorrow.
God,
that
no.
is exactly. You know all too well. You know, Kruker. You know you don't want to see that. All right, so got to get the win tomorrow. All right, John, we'll see you then. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Johnny.
Okay. All right.
Well, let's take a look at the wild card standings. Phillies now have a one-game lead over the Cubs. The good news is the Cubs are losing, so that would go back up to a game and a half. And it's important to note that they do hold the tiebreaker over Chicago. So if they end up tied somehow, Phillies would still be that top spot. And what we're talking about is the magic number for the Braves. Ricky, you alluded to it, is now 2. And so when they're facing off, any combination of Phillies loss and a Braves win, with the win today, it was 4 at the start of the day, now it is 2. You just don't want to see this team celebrate.
No, I hate the Braves. If there's any team you don't want to see, they've done it enough to the Phillies in the past.
6 straight at least right now.
6 straight. I was playing with the Phillies when they won like 13 straight.
14 straight.
I don't even want to hear about them celebrating.
No way that he would have put him there to bunt, and the reason why is because they do not bunt in the games ever. They just don't do it.
I understand that. I understand that, but to me, that's situational baseball. And in that situation, you move those runners over to second and third, so you don't end up in a situation where you can hit a ground ball. And what did Castellanos do? Double play.
No, I don't disagree with you. My thing is this: that in that situation, he got a couple of pitches in the early part of that at bat before that last pitch, 95. That he had in the middle of the plate, and he missed both of them. Mm-hmm. And the thought process has to be to try to drive the ball to the right side of the field, make contact, move the runner some way, somehow. Even if it unfortunate, you know, circumstance that he hits the ball hard right at somebody in the infield, at least he's trying to hit behind the runner to move the runner from second to third base and try to get him there with less than 2 outs. And the situational hitting has not been great. And if you don't do that, obviously 1 for 11 with runners.
1 for 14.
1 for 14.
Yeah.
That 1 for 11
even
was
worse.
in the
1
ninth.
for 14 with runners in scoring position. That's just not going to get it done. Great job of battling back, but again, you have to figure out ways to have good situational at bats when it's time to have good situational
They just
at bats.
didn't have it in the 9th inning, especially. They just didn't have good at bats.
And how frustrating though is that, because it's not just the they you're mentioning are guys that you're depending on to come through.
This is the oddest thing in the world. His
strange.
home numbers, and Citizens Bank Park is a great place to hit. I cannot figure for the life of me why this guy is not hitting at Citizens Bank Park.
And JT's strength, really, for me, has always been to drive the ball to the right center field. And right now, he just doesn't. He's not getting the foot down in time to be able to do that and stay behind the ball. For whatever reason, those are things that happen. I mean, hitting's tough. But again, he's a good enough hitter to be able to make contact in that situation, and they didn't get it.
Yeah, the bunting thing, I'm sure Rob Thomson is going to be asked about that.
It is what it is, and I understand they don't like to bunt in these situations anymore, but you're in a situation to win the game outright. You put runners on second and third and one out, what are they going to do? Probably walk the next guy. Okay, you hit a fly ball, game's over.
Right. Well,
Simplify the game, in my eyes.
Well, here's the other part of this. If that situation arises in the playoffs, now you got to figure out what you're going to do. Because do you at this point try to bunt him, or do you try to let him hit? I guess it kind of depends on whether or not.
Well, maybe by that time he's going better.
Maybe he's swinging the bat better.
Yeah, it's certainly a situation that would have called for maybe a little something different. I'm sure Topper was asked about it. Let's check in now with Rob Thomson.
I feel like you might have lost it in the bottom of the ninth there when you have first and second, nobody out.
Yeah, with the opportunity to come through and just didn't get it done. But, lately we haven't been hitting with runners in scoring position. We're scoring a lot of runs by the home run, but that'll change.
Is there any consideration at all having JT square and bump there?
No.
Who he is?
Well, I'm not sure if he's ever bunted before, to tell you the truth. So you don't ask somebody to do something that they can't do.
You feel like you got caught kind of in bad matchups in the 10th inning there?
Yeah, and that's what you deal with when you pinch hit. You kind of set up a pocket there. If the game goes extras, that's where you're at.
This is now like your fourth time, really since August 23rd. Tied the game, taken the lead 8th inning later, lost. Are you worried about how that might affect this team, or what?
No, because they keep coming back. They keep fighting. So that too will change, just like hitting with runners in scoring position. As long as they're fighting, I'm good with it.
With the fight that this team shows on a regular basis, tonight coming back from 5 runs down, I guess how much does that emphasize the importance that overall the pitching has to be better going down the stretch here?
Yeah, and I think Wills was okay early. The pitch count was so high. They put some good at-bats on him, a lot of foul balls. I think he was at 47 pitches after second inning. He was at 59 after the third, 72 after the fourth. That's kind of, for him, that's kind of a heavy workload. He doesn't usually get there after the fourth inning. So I don't know. I'd have to look at it, but maybe the stuff diminished a little bit in the fifth. But I thought our relievers were good. Even Kimbrel. Rosario put a good at-bat on him. A couple of foul tips popped out of JT's glove. It's baseball.
I know you've acknowledged that it's a hard job, but what did you make of Edwin Moscoso's strike zone tonight?
I haven't looked at it. I mean, you can look at it from the side, but you really can't tell.
Pinch hitting Castro? No.
Pardon?
Castro.
What about?
For Marsh in the 10th?
No. He hadn't had an at-bat in a week. And, I trust Marsh there. Yeah.
Did you get any sense you guys might have been fired up after it was in his home run when he sort of flapped his arms?
Yeah, I think they were a little bit fired up, but that's what he does all the time on every home run he hits. So that's the way, like they say, let the kids play or whatever they say. Whatever.
I mean, if Castro isn't going to be used, would you like to see a different player in that spot on the bench for you? Would you like the front office to make a change?
No, we're fine. We're fine. I trust Marsh. The only reason I didn't start him today was to give him basically a day off, but then we had to go. And what we did offensively was we got Minner in the game. Now he's thrown 3 days in a row. Iglesias in the game. He's thrown 3 days in a row. I doubt if they're available tomorrow. So, and really that's why I pinch hit Stott, because I knew that Minner was up, and I think it was Marsh when Minner came in to face him, because the right-hander was on the mound. Minner was up. I pinch hit Marsh because it does a couple of things. It keeps him off of Harper, and it probably keeps them out of the game tomorrow.
Where you guys have hit big home runs in the 8th and 9th innings and not been able to finish it off. Do those losses, I don't know, any worry that they'll wear on the team a little bit, or how do you bounce back from those?
Yeah, I don't know about weigh on us or anything like that. I think just we can't let it happen. Especially this late in the season, and we got to win these games. Plain and simple. We're playing some really good teams, of course, and we're going to play some more good teams down the stretch. But these are the games, especially at home, that we need to come out on top and win these games.
What do you think about how these games against the Braves have gone? Just the intensity and the tightness, and how you guys stack up.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've said it all year. We're a really good team, and we just got to play that way and keep doing that. That's a really good team over there. They're going to win this division and be one of the better teams in the playoffs. And but we got to keep doing our job. We can't really worry about that right now, especially. We just got to win these games, and especially the close ones like that. Especially when you're at home. Anytime you're able to win those games and put pressure on other teams and do those things, I mean, you got to do it.
Is that especially frustrating with the way the Cubs keep playing, kind of nipping at your heels?
Yeah, I mean, it's something we can't control. We can control how we play out there right now. And the Cubs are a good team. They've been playing really well as of late. They got some really good, professional ball players over there that have played in these big games and these, in these moments as well. So we just got to keep playing our game. We can't worry about anything else. If we keep worrying, or if we, start to worry or anything like that, we're not going to be there. So we got to understand to win these games now. Go out there tomorrow, face Strider. He's really good. He's having a great year. We just got to go out and do our job and understand that doing our job is what matters right now.
While there's already a lot on the line with these games, you mentioned how the Braves are close to clinching. They could clinch tomorrow here. How much extra motivation is there to make sure that they don't celebrate that here?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to celebrate it wherever they're at, right? I mean, so if they end up doing that tomorrow, then, good for them, right? I mean, it's great for their organization, great for their team. Of course, we're looking forward to, going out there and hopefully beating Strider tomorrow and beating the Braves. But, if that happens, then it just happens.
That was the 11 previous starts against the Braves. Obviously, he's made more than 11 career starts. So 11 previous starts against the Braves. The ERA was under 2, and you can see his night tonight. It ended early, and you heard Rob Thomson talk about it, Ricky. His pitch count really got up there. He was 70-plus after 4.
It was up there early. First inning, they make them work. These guys are no joke. I mean, these guys on the Braves, they can hit the baseball. They're looking for you to make that one mistake. And I want you to think about this. The longer you go into a game, the more pitches you throw, the more susceptible you are to making that mistake out over the middle of the plate. I mean, you look at the Olsen pitch. Okay, it's out over the plate. You let him extend his arms. He hits the ball out to left center field. The Acuna was just a bad pitch. It was a spinning breaking ball, had no movement on it, sat in the middle of the plate, and he hit it to the bakery out there in left field off of the facade. And then the Ozuna home run, I thought it looked as though Ozuna might have been looking fastball in, and he got a fastball in, got the barrel of the bat to it. But I mean, when you're sitting against these guys, you're trying to nibble at times. I agree with him that the umpire was not special tonight, not in a good way at least. But he did kind of force him to throw the ball a little bit more towards the middle of the plate. But even still, I mean, you think about it, he gave up 7 hits. 3 of them were home runs. I mean, and when that happens, you're probably going to have an ugly number next to your name.
Yeah, well, let's hear from Zack Wheeler now.
Olsen, we pitched him away the first at bat, and then he just got to that one, so that might have been the cause of that. But same thing with Ozuna. I think we finished him with a bunch of high heaters in. And so that next at bat, he was on that, and then that just hung the curveball to what's his name, Acuna.
What have you thought about these games between these 2 teams now? So you guys had a pretty tight series last year in the postseason, and these games this year, most of them have been
2 good teams going at it. Good pitching, good hitting. Timely hits. These guys fought back tonight like they always do, and it was a good game. I put us behind the 8 ball a little bit, so I had to fight back, and we could have easily won that game. So, this one's on me, and got to do better.
Your pitch count was up early. Was that them just putting good at-bats on you, or the depth of their lineup, or?
I felt a lot of balls off. I didn't have my great stuff tonight. Just really grinding through it. So, that with some missed calls, led to a high pitch count.
Each with the ability to go back and forth. Just how intense are games like this, especially this time of year when everything's even more magnified.
Yeah. Two divisional teams, like you said, pretty good. Ball clubs that can score a lot of runs and do a lot of different things and pitch and play defense, and it's fun, exciting atmosphere with the fans as well. So it's been pretty electric and good series. Obviously, wish some more games went our way, but feels like playoff baseball.
A couple of losses lately where you guys have rallied in the 8th or 9th inning to tie or take a lead and then not been able to finish. Those wear on the team at all, or how do you bounce back from those?
I think right now, right this second, it's kind of tough, but I feel like we move on pretty well here, and even yesterday we got beaten in that first one and kind of bounced back quick. So we know we can do it. We know that we could win some more games here or there, and pitch goes our way, this or that, whatever it may be. But baseball, it's a hard game. They're a really good team over there, obviously, and I feel like we've played pretty well. It's just it's a hard game.
How do you think you guys match up against the Braves? I mean, that season record's not great, but then you mentioned yesterday's game and today's game came back. It's real close.
Yeah, I don't know our season record either. I think we split there early in the year, 2-2, and this series, I feel like has been close, and feels like we can compete with anybody, and I think they feel the same way. We believe in ourselves, and it's going to be whoever executes the most is going to come out on top, and today they did that.
Is this the most comfortable and confident you've been at the plate?
Yeah, probably my entire career for the most part. I think I might have hit for a better average or certain numbers here or there, but hitting for power pretty consistently. So I feel like the last 30, 40 games, whatever it is, I don't know the numbers, but feels like just as good as I've ever been.